What's up, peeps? Nick Battle, aka NinosCorner, man. Today, we're going to talk about a few things. But first off, guys, if you like what you listen to, if you like what you hear on these podcasts, go give me that 5-star review, 5-star comments. So I can keep this content coming to you guys. Now, today, what we're going to talk about, a couple of things. We're going to talk about the new Pat Mahomes deal. What a big deal this is. Is it really that big of a deal? What does this mean for the other, actual quarterbacks that are up for contract? We're also going to talk about the NBA season. It should be starting here at the end of this month. But is it really going to start? We'll see. So first off, let's talk about the Pat Mahomes deal, guys. 10-year deal with incentive mechanisms, not incentives, incentive mechanisms to get up to $503 million, right? Sounds like a lot of money. Sounds like an average of $50.3 million a year. It's actually not. It's roughly, if I'm not mistaken, those incentives that he can actually get has to happen if he wins like the Super Bowl MVP, wins the MVP of the league. So that counts up to like another 25 to 50 mil or so. But the actual contract, if it stands pat without him winning any more Super Bowls or MVPs, it's like a 10-year, $453 million deal. Now, is that the true number? Not necessarily. Not so fast, my friend. It's really, he has $140 million in guarantees. So basically, if he gets hurt, he gets $140 million off the top. Never has to play football again. He's taken care of for the rest of his life, which is still like 40% higher than any other guaranteed money ever in the history of professional football. So the number's a little bit deceiving. $140 million in guarantees. That's a lot of money. I think, let me see, people who got, I think Russell Wilson had a high number for guarantees. Well, actually, he didn't have a high number for guarantees. The guy who had a big number for guarantees was Carson Wentz, I think at $101 million. I think Jared Goff had something roughly similar, probably $90 to $100 million in guarantees. But but Pat Mahomes gets a $140 million injury clause, guarantee clause, whatever you want to call it. Now, kudos to Pat Mahomes. It's a 10-year deal. He is the best quarterback in the league right now. The Chiefs are not getting rid of him. 9 times out of 10, this is going to be for the long run. He's always said that he doesn't want to take all the money away from the team because he wants to have weapons around him. So we shall see on how this actually is going to work. Now, with him having so much money that is like cash, in the form of this contract, it's going to help him be able to get like under the cap and things of that nature. So he'll be able to renegotiate. He'll be able to restructure his contract so that he's not sucking up all the money in the contract, and they can go sign players like keeping Tyreek Hill paid. They can go get other weapons for him. Maybe tying up Kelsey for another 3 to 4 years, even though he's, I think Kelsey's 30 years old right now. But in all, what does this mean? What does this mean for the future of the quarterback position? Hey guys, quarterbacks have always gotten paid. They're going to continue to get paid. One thing that I think this kind of hampered Pat Mahomes was he's not setting the market. So 10 years from now, or even 5 years from now, what is a quarterback going to be making per season? So he set the market now. So let's just say roughly $45 million a year, 45.3 if that contract is really 10-year, $453 million. But if I'm an agent, I'm going to look at that big number. I'm going to say 10-year, $503 million. I'm going to say he's making $50 million a year if I'm an agent. If you're looking at all this, guys, did he shoot his shot too soon? I can't fault somebody for taking $500 million. I can't fault anybody, but the amount of money that is made within this league is absurd. Well, I shouldn't say made, but it is given out. Honestly, I think Pat Mahomes could have been a trailblazer and could have said, hey, man, give me a 5-year, $250 million contract, and I want it all guaranteed. I think he could have got away with it, and it could have set a trend to where players in the NFL can start getting all their money guaranteed. If the best player in the league is doing it, then a guy who comes underneath him, who might be the next best, should be able to, have his contract fully guaranteed too. But Pat Mahomes didn't do that. I think he made it more team friendly so that they had the flexibility to get them some players. But I think he could have did what Kirk Cousins did, but on a larger scale. Kirk Cousins' whole contract was guaranteed, where he made roughly 28 to 30 million a season. I think it was like 88 million over 3 seasons with Minnesota, but the whole contract was fully guaranteed. And I think Pat Mahomes could have did something like that, but on a much larger scale, and could have changed the landscape of what the NFL is and what the NFL is trying to not go into. They don't want to pay the players, guys. But I think if a guy like Pat Mahomes would came out and say, "Pay me," they would have had a choice, and they could have set a trend. But what does this mean for the players? You got to look at guys like Dak Prescott and Deshaun Watson. They're both due up for contracts. Deshaun Watson's patiently waiting, I think, on both of these guys because he wants to get right there in the middle, right there in the sweet spot. I think he wants Dak to sign first. So if Dak goes ahead and signs, Dak has a number where even if his agent wants to go after $45.3 million, that is probably like the true wealth of the contract or the true net for the contract for Pat Mahomes. He can say $45.3 million a year. Hey Jerry, I told you 40 mil was what I wanted, and yada yada yada. Let's do this. 40 million over 4 years, 160 million with some incentives baked in, and yeah. Let's say Pat Mahomes got 140 million guaranteed. Give me 130 million guaranteed. Which is a lot of money, especially considering Carson Wentz got over 100 million guaranteed. Dak's going to want to best that. And I think Deshaun Watson's going to be the last domino to fall because he wants to see what Dak gets, and he already knows what Pat Mahomes got, and so he's going to want to try to get there, right there in the middle in the sweet spot, because he figures that he is the next best young quarterback behind Pat Mahomes in that year group, in that year range. I think we have a lot to argue with. People think I'm crazy when I say this. I love Deshaun Watson's game. I think he's amazing, but he's not durable. Dak's durable. I think Dak throws a better ball than Deshaun does, and I'm interested to see what Deshaun's going to look like without Nuke. So it's going to be interesting to see how that happens. So you got Hopkins that's over there with the Cardinals this upcoming season, and he doesn't have him anymore. So how is that going to look for him? So if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm trying to hurry up and get my deal done right now before anything happens, before I had the potential to get exposed. I don't think he's going to get exposed. I think he's a great quarterback. But I just think I like Dak a little bit better. That's just my opinion. I know I'm a Cowboys fan. You guys know that. But I just think he's more durable, and I think they're pretty comparable across the board. I think Deshaun's a much more athletic quarterback. But just true quarterback physical traits, I think Dak hasn't beat there. But it's going to be interesting, guys. Both of these guys, to me, I would, if I had to rank these guys 1 or 2 between Dak and Deshaun, it's like 1A and 1B. So that's how close I think they are. But, it's going to be interesting to see what the contracts are going to be like. I think Dak's going to get his money now. I think Jerry's going to probably start kicking himself in the butt because he should have got this done earlier. He should have just said, Dak, I give you a 4-year contract at, I don't know, $37 million a year, and we'll make that happen, or 35 or 36, whatever it is. Now I think that number's going to have to stretch up to around 40, and if it is 40, and Dak can say, well, okay, I'll take the 5-year deal, but give me a 5-year, $200 million contract with $130 million guaranteed. Still less than the 45 mil that Pat Mahomes is getting. And I told you guys what I wanted, but since you guys want to hold out, I will take an extra year, but you're going to pay me that 40 million, and I want my guarantee to be 130. So it's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen. And like I said, guys, I think Deshaun Watson is definitely going to fall in line at around 40 to 41, $42 million. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So on that note, guys, let's go to a small commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the NBA season. All right, guys, and we're back, man. So I forgot to mention Lamar Jackson. He's due for a contract, not for another couple of years, because he has the 5th-year option. This is going to be the start of his 3rd year. But after this year, he's going to get paid. He's probably going to do what Pat Mahomes did and gets paid. And what's the contract going to be like for him? He's already a league MVP. He has to win some more in the playoffs, but still, he's amazing. So yeah, he's going to reset the market too. Good for him too. Just come on, guys, please, NFL players, start taking more guaranteed money. Force the league to pay you, because I'm always on the player side. The owners are billionaires; they're going to always make their money, but I'm always going to be for the player. Come on, guys, get that guaranteed money. All right, next up on the list, guys, let's talk about the NBA season, all right? So the NBA season is supposed to start in Orlando here at the end of the month. How's this going to happen? I have no clue. I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly if it is going to happen. I mean, Florida had 40,000 COVID cases in 4 days in July. So from the first day of July to the fourth day of July to the 4th of July, they had 40,000 cases of coronavirus. Wow. And now we're going to put all the NBA players in a bubble in Orlando and tell them to go to Florida, play basketball, where they're having all these cases, all these new cases, because they didn't take heed to the warnings that Dr. Fauci and everybody else was saying, that stay at home, wear masks, yada yada yada. And so they had they had their largest spike of the coronavirus in that 4-day time frame that they had since the virus has been out. So is the season going to happen? I think the NBA wants the season to happen. They want it badly. I know some of the players, I know LeBron wants to have it, but guys, I don't think we're going to have a season. And I don't think we need to have one. We got to keep these guys safe, man. It's more about sports. I mean, it's more than sports. It's not about sports. This is more than sports, guys. It's about family. It's about living. It's about life. It's about love. It's about everything, man. These guys cannot afford to risk their life. I mean, I'm in the military. I risk my life when I deploy, and that's a volunteer service. But these guys shouldn't be risking their life to give entertainment. That's just my opinion. You know, it's entertainment. Now, I know some of them aren't going to get paid. Well, all of them want to get paid from their deals, but the big time guys get paid through endorsements and things of that nature. But these are millionaires. I don't think anybody feels sorry for millionaires for not having to work for a couple months. They gotten paid for half the year. You know what they say, guys, you got to save it for a rainy day. Hey, the rest of the country is feeling the COVID crisis, so they're not able to, actually work. So they're having to make it and live the way that they're supposed to. I think the players can too. Nobody feels sorry for millionaires. But I just don't, I don't think this season's going to happen. I don't think it needs to happen. Whoever wins this is going to have an asterisk by their name anyway. You got so many players who are saying that they're not going to play. They're not coming to the bubble. You got Dinwiddie from Brooklyn, who just tested positive twice, for the coronavirus. You have guys like Bradley Beal, who's having surgery, so he's not playing. But Victor Oladipo said he is not going to the bubble to play. There are a lot of players who say that they're going to just sit this out because it's not winning a championship or competing for a championship. It's not worth, their health and their life. And, I can't say that I disagree with them. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the NBA does this. So I don't think it's going to be a season. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. We've already, said, guys, about the college football season on the last episode, how I don't think we're going to have college football this year. Especially now, ICE is recommending that, since we're not having, in-person classes and everything's online, that foreign students have to go back to their country. So do you guys know how many players that affects college football? I mean, there's a slew of punters who are from other countries. There are a bunch of players. I mean, look at Chuba Hubbard, who is the running back for Oklahoma State. He's probably going to be a top round pick in next year's draft if there is a draft. He might have to go back to Canada. I mean, he's like the best player in the team. Texas's punter is going to have to go back to, I think he's from Australia. So it's a bunch of players. LSU has a ton of players that have to go back to their countries if this passes. So hey guys, something's got to shake. I think California's already said that they're not going to have any college sports if they can't have in-person classes in the state. And so if that's the case, then the Pac-12 is done. I mean, half of their teams are right there in California, with the UCLAs and, the USCs, and you got Cal, and, if you look at the Mountain West or what used to be the Mountain West, you got Fresno State. I mean, you got all those schools out there that play some pretty good ball. San Jose State plays some pretty good ball too. But you got all those schools who play really good ball, and they won't be able to play ball because there won't be any in-person classes, all online. And you know, the Pac-12 and a couple other conferences out there in the state have basically said that they're not going to have a season. So, guys, it's going to be interesting. I don't know how it's going to work. I'm on the side that says that these are children, these are kids that are going to college. I remember when I was going to college, I didn't want, I wouldn't want to die, to do something that is an extracurricular activity while I'm in school, So, let these kids get their education. Let these kids go out and do their thing in the classroom because they are student athletes, right? Let these kids do their thing. So that's on the college spiel, guys. But on the pro side for NBA, I don't think we need the season. I don't. I know this is going to be a season that is watched and it's going to be looked at in the history books. And I think guys like LeBron James is looking at the opportunity where he could have had a chance to win this season because Steph Curry's out. Kevin Durant's out this year, and it's just basically him versus Kawhi Leonard and the Greek Freak. And at the end of the season, they were running full stride, and they beat both teams pretty badly before COVID happened. So I know he's probably licking his chops wanting to play, but we shall see, guys. I don't know how it's going to work. But guys, on that note, man, it is getting a little late. I want you guys to know that I do record these the night before they come out. So, hey, guys. You guys know what I talk about, guys. Do you, man. Don't be afraid to fail. Outgrow your environment. Understand your brilliance, man. And on that note, Nino's Corner's out, and you'll hear my next podcast tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. But I'm doing 2 a week, guys, man. Love you guys, man. I'm out. Salute to you guys.